Thousands are without power in California as the state works to prevent wildfires.
A local Oswego bakery is making an appearance on the cooking channel.
And the CDC is linking 26 deaths to vaping.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Peter Wendler.
And I'm Stephanie Schweiko.
The second phase of a safety plan intended to prevent wildfires has left hundreds of thousands of Californian residents without electricity. At the time, more than 600,000 customers have been left without power. This is the second day Northern California residents have been living in the dark. The intentional shutdown was part of a plan by Pacific Gas and Electric to test services and prepare for the harsh wildfires California is all too familiar with.
PG&E's fire precaution plan was only scheduled for Wednesday. However, PG&E said that extreme winds overnight forced the additional shutdown in the hopes of preventing spark fires. 137,000 residents have had their power restored. However, other customers could be without power for several more days. Pacific Gas and Electric says they will deploy a fleet of helicopters and more than 6,000 technicians to inspect the lines before they are brought back, a process that could take up to 5 days.
A forum designed to raise awareness about type 1 diabetes will be held at the Center for Instruction, Technology, and Innovation in Mexico on November 6th. The forum was announced today by T1D Oswego County and will feature representatives of all ages, from children to adults who live with and care for someone with type 1 diabetes. For more information, visit and follow T1D Oswego County on Facebook.
SUNY Oswego's storytelling students are set to spook Oswego residents during the 4th annual A Night at the Oswego Town Rural Cemetery on October 25th at 6 p.m. The students will recount the stories of college founder Edward Austin Sheldon, Dr. Mary Walker, and many more during a costume performance. The performance is part of the walking tour hosted by the Oswego Town Historical Society to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Dr. Mary Walker's death.
Local business Shell's Bake Shop has announced it will be featured on an episode of the cooking channel's Freak Show Cakes. Owner-operator and namesake Michelle McVeigh says the opportunity is both a personal achievement and an opportunity to grow as a professional. The show features 3 cake artists competing for a $10,000 prize by crafting novelty baked goods. The Shell's Bake Shop episode is set to air on October 18th and will feature Halloween undertones and a misfortune teller theme.
Dozens of people in New York State went to the funeral of a man they had never met. Ambrose Jacob was a Vietnam veteran who died alone and had no known family or friends. But as Matt Hunter reports from Saratoga County, complete strangers were there to honor him.
At the front of a short procession through the Saratoga National Cemetery, Butch Hyde sat on his motorcycle.
I feel it's important to honor all veterans. We're all comrades. We've all been through a lot.
An Air Force veteran himself, Hyde was trailed by a hearse carrying a man he never came to know. But the two are linked by a shared service to their country in Vietnam.
We're not alone. We're all together. We've all gone through this.
Living a few hours north of his Putnam County home, Tricia Johnston had never met the man being laid to rest either. But she, too, felt a connection.
It was important because my son's a United States Marine. My father was a vet from the Korean War.
The small group, mostly unknown to each other, all came for a singular purpose: to provide a dignified farewell to a stranger who recently died alone, former Army specialist Ambrose Jacob.
To read on Facebook that this Army veteran was homeless, it was just sad for somebody who was out there fighting for us. And I just felt as though I needed to come.
Most in attendance first learned of Jacob's passing after the Putnam County Veterans Service Agency issued a request for people to attend his burial.
They say a veteran dies 2 deaths: the day they die and then the day somebody stops talking about them. So our job here at the cemetery is to make sure nobody forgets his name. For Hyde, who's participated in many services with the Patriot Guard Riders, it is a chance to honor a fellow brother in arms.
Doesn't get old. It's an honor every day, every time we do it. It's a privilege and an honor to show respect.
Jacob received several honors during his military career, including the National Defense Service Medal and the Vietnam Campaign Ribbon.
A Cortland woman has confessed to conspiring with her husband to record the sexual abuse of a 3-year-old child in 5 separate incidents across 2018. 25-year-old Brittany Berry pleaded guilty today for 6 felony charges for recording herself sexually abusing a child on a live stream and taking photos which she sent to her husband. Berry faces a minimum of 15 years in prison for each of the 6 counts. The charges against her husband, Lawrence Berry, are still pending.
The Glen Falls Police Department have confirmed a man has died after an equipment malfunction at the Namick Medical Device plant on Tuesday. 58-year-old William Wizard of Gloversville was servicing an order picker forklift at a loading dock when its hydraulics failed and the platform fell on him. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The U.S. Occupational Health and Safety Administration is investigating, but is not yet clear what caused the equipment failure.
The Oswego City Police Department will now be conducting quality of life patrols in the city of Oswego. I went down to City Hall and spoke to Oswego Mayor Billy Barlow to learn more. Policing in the port city is about to change, and Oswego students are concerned. Mayor Billy Barlow has proposed a $90,000 grant, which will give the Oswego City Police Department the ability to conduct foot patrols on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings. The new patrols will be officially known as Quality of Life Patrols, and according to Mayor Barlow, the patrols will do everything from keeping the streets clean to collecting information on criminal activities such as drug dealing. The proposal for the patrols comes after an increase in the number of complaints Oswego City Police have received for nighttime disturbances. Some students from SUNY Oswego fear the new patrols will target them.
The town is active throughout the year when the kids are here, and the majority of the problems that happen is usually kids getting drunk, fighting at the bars.
I do believe it is a way of targeting students from other places.
With the concerns of the students in mind, I came down to Oswego City Hall to talk to Mayor Billy Barlow. When asked if new patrols were targeting student activity, Mayor Barlow had this to say.
I think everybody's more active on Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, not just students. It's not just college, because college isn't in session all year. We plan to have these quality of life patrols when college isn't even here.
The mayor hopes the quality of life patrols will not only make the city safer, but its citizens, including SUNY Oswego students, more friendly with its police force. This is Peter J. Wendler reporting for WTOP 10. The patrols have been funded for the remainder of 2019 and all of 2020.
A Syracuse resident narrowly escaped a burning home by jumping out of a second-story window in the early hours of Tuesday morning. 3 adult residents were in the building when the fire started and escaped unharmed before the fire department arrived. The fire, which was reported at 1:56 a.m., started on the first floor of the 2.5-story residence and was put out by the fire department before reaching the upper floors. What caused the fire is still under investigation.
Coming up later tonight, an unincorporated group in Baton Rouge is working towards creating their own independent city.
And security confiscates free Hong Kong signs at a Washington Wizards game.
Now let's take a quick look at the weather with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Mike Brown.
Good evening, everyone. Let's just take a quick look at our weather. Honestly, not too much to talk about. As you can see behind me, mainly clear, no precipitation in the area, no clouds. What a great night. But now let's look at our current temperatures. They are dropping quite quickly, middle 40s in Phoenix, down to near 53 in Oswego. What can we expect coming up? I'll have that right after the break. Everybody, welcome back. I'm your Storm Team 10 meteorologist Michael Brown here to take a look at your weather for tonight and what's to come. Taking a quick look at our radar again, nothing much to talk about, no precip in the area, things are looking great. But let's take a look at our today's highs. They're actually a little bit warmer than average, mid-60s, upper 60s in some areas, a little bit warm for this time of year, but it was nice and sunny. What a great day. So now let's take a look at our current temperatures. They're starting to cool off quite rapidly with these. There's no wind and clear skies, which allows these temperatures to cool off right quickly. It's middle 40s in Fulton. Here in Oswego, we're in the low 50s, a little bit closer to the lake. Walworth in the lower 40s, or excuse me, middle 40s as well. Now, let's take a quick look in our New York State area. It's more the same thing, middle 50s to middle 40s, a little bit warmer in areas like Albany, for example. But now, let's take a look at a bigger picture of the whole nation. We have this huge pool of cold air out west affecting Denver, the middle 20s. It's just a really strong cold front that's making its way through the area. And that's having temperatures drop 20 to 40 degrees in 24 hours. That's crazy. But what does that mean for here? I'm going to time it out in our Futurecast right now. first, let's take a look right now. Temperatures dropping, clear skies, mid-40s, not too much to talk about. But as we get into your morning, those temperatures, you can get in the upper 30s in some areas like Oneida Lake and Lyons, so you might want to bring the jacket as you walk out in the morning. But going into our afternoon, temperatures rebound pretty good. They're into the middle and possibly upper 60s in areas like Pulaski and other areas like Oswego. We get into the mid 60s, excuse me. And then as we go into our evening and overnight, these clouds start to increase with temperatures dropping into the mid 50s. And then as we go overnight, the clouds continue to increase, and we actually have some precipitation move into the area for the afternoon and evening and overnight for Saturday. So Saturday, not looking like the best day with precipitation mainly in the afternoon. But now, let's take a quick look back at Oswego, and let's take a quick recap. So tonight, calm winds about 5 miles an hour, probably less, out of the southeast, with temperatures dropping into the low to mid 40s, with possibly some areas getting into the upper 30s. But now, in our afternoon, we have temperatures in the mid 60s for our area with winds out of the northeast, about 5 to 8, not too bad. But some areas can get into the mid and upper 60s. But now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. So looking for this weekend, we have rain for the day on Saturday. Like I said, looking in the evening, probably the most likely time for that rain. But as we move into Sunday, our temperatures are in the lower 60s with sun. The cooler as we end the week, but if the next rain chance looks to be Wednesday into Thursday. I'm your Storm Team 10 meteorologist, Michael Brown. More news and sports after the break.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. Residents of an unincorporated portion of East Baton Rouge are attempting to create a new city. The new municipality would be called the City of St. George. Calls for a new city came after residents repeatedly failed to get an independent school district. This will be the area's second attempt to establish an independent city. The Advocate, Baton Rouge's newspaper, says efforts to create St. George are more driven by passion than pragmatism. St. George supporters say the reason behind their movements include underperforming schools, poor roadways, and inadequate drainage systems that have led to flooding.
New numbers from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention show 1,299 cases of vaping-related lung injuries, and 49 states are reporting cases. Alaska is the only state that has not reported any injuries, and about 80% of the cases are in people under 35 years old. The CDC is also linking 26 deaths to vaping. It is not clear what is causing the illnesses, but most of the cases have involved THC, the chemical in marijuana that makes you high. Vaping THC is illegal in states that have not legalized marijuana. Officials from the CDC, Food and Drug Administration, and several health departments are trying to figure out exactly what is causing the injuries.
Two of President Donald Trump's campaign donors are being accused of breaking U.S. campaign finance law. Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman were arrested Wednesday night at Dulles International Airport in Virginia, just before they were scheduled to leave the country. The pair appeared in court earlier today and have been charged with conspiracy, lying, and falsifying records. It is alleged the pair illegally donated $325,000 to a pro-Trump political action committee during the 2018 presidential election. Both men have ties to the Ukrainian government.
Several fans and activists had signs confiscated before an NBA exhibition basketball game between the Washington Wizards and the Guangzhou Long Lions at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. The incidents were posted on Twitter, where arena officials can be heard telling fans no political signs. Scott Hall, a spokesman for the Wizards, confirmed the incident, saying the building security staff removed signs tonight in accordance with Capital One Arena's long-standing signs, banners, posters, and flag policy. Despite the incident, no fans were asked to leave the game.
Para-Olympian cyclist James Brown was arrested after climbing on top of an Amsterdam-bound British Airways flight. Brown was one of 50 Extinction Rebellion protesters arrested for disrupting flights at London City Airport. Extinction Rebellion hopes their protests will cause the British government to take action on climate change. London City Airport officials said despite the protests, flights generally ran on time, although the protests did succeed in canceling 2 flights. Police say roughly 1,000 people have been arrested for climate protests since Monday.
A Japanese businessman had a watch worth more than $800,000 stolen from his wrist outside of a 5-star hotel in Paris. Police say the man was staying at Hotel Napoleon, located near Arc de Triomphe and Champs-Élysées, when he was approached by a man who asked him for a cigarette. The thief then seized his Richard Mille Tourbillon diamond twister watch and proceeded to run away. Paris has seen an increase of luxury watch thefts in recent months, with more than 70 cases restored.
The Turkish military pushes forward with operations in Syria, striking at the Kurds, who are positioned in the northeastern part of the country, the same Kurdish fighters who have been fighting alongside the United States against ISIS. President Donald Trump apparently gave the Turkish president permission to act this past Sunday. And Nada Romero explains what this decision means for the Syrians caught in the crossfire and how lawmakers are responding.
Big black smoke billows into the sky over northeastern Syria during a widening Turkish military assault, causing a traffic jam as refugees take to trucks, cars, bikes, and on foot to flee danger.
Are you afraid? They're saying that they're frightened for the children.
Humanitarian groups estimate some 300,000 people could become displaced. The Trump-approved military move by Turkey forcing even his most loyal allies to push back. Senator Lindsey Graham taking to Twitter to release a bipartisan resolution to enforce severe sanctions against Turkey.
Lindsey, and I'd feel differently. I think Lindsey would like to stay there for the next 200 years.
But even the president's former national security advisor, H.R. McMaster, argues a U.S. presence is necessary in the region to counter ISIS.
I know it feels good to some people to think, well, let's just disengage from that and worry about ourselves. But of course, if we did that, we would become very vulnerable.
But the president says he's following through on a campaign promise.
We're getting out of the endless wars. We have to do it. And eventually somebody was going to have to make the decision.
Now, thousands are fleeing their homes. In Washington, I'm Nadia Romero reporting.
Turkey's military offensive began in Syria on Wednesday, just after the Trump administration announced it was pulling U.S. troops back from the area. Coming up in sports, Zachary Haynes. Zach, can you give us a quick preview?
Thanks, guys. We got a lot of Lakers action this weekend, as well as an outraged fan base. Stay tuned after the break for more. Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Zachary Haynes with your sports update for the weekend. The Oswego State volleyball team is on a hot streak, winning their last 2 games. This Friday, the Lakers will be facing against the Plattsburgh Cardinals and are planning on continuing their winning streak. Julia Floor and Melissa Lucier will be looking to keep the defense rolling, while the Cardinals' Rachel Manona and Michelle Simmons will be trying to stop the roll. The 2 teams square off in Maxio Gym tomorrow at 6 p.m. The Oswego men's soccer team is diving into more conference play as the Oneonta Red Dragons come into town. The Lakers will be looking for a win, but not without a fight. Oneonta is nationally ranked at 11, with their squad including Whitman Hernandez, who has scored 11 goals for the season. However, the Lakers have Brian Terra in their goal and is averaging .849 saves this season. The team will hit the pitch tomorrow at 4 p.m. in Laker Turf Stadium. Moving on to pro sports, the Los Angeles Dodgers lost to the Washington Nationals 7-3 last night, ending their playoff run for 2019. The Dodgers missed another chance at the World Series, making fans frustrated at the team. This includes one fan who took his Clayton Kershaw jersey and threw it onto the field. He was booed by other fans as he walked out. You can see there he's taking the jersey off, walking down the steps, and he's about to throw it past the security guards as well. He was booed by other fans after this. The last time the LA Dodgers lost in the divisional round of playoffs was in 2015. Out of Stuttgart, Germany, Simone Biles has won her 5th world all-around title in gymnastics. Biles is currently competing in an international global event, putting on a score of 58.9. Biles' total victory margin was 2.1, the largest lead she has ever held in her career. This win puts her medal count to 22, with plenty of events to help push her record even more, and including next year's Olympics. As we make our way back to the United States, we got some action from the ring out of Buffalo as they are taking on the Montreal Canadiens last night. Moving into the third period, we have Jonasson pass to Skinner for the goal, and 4-2 in the third. They're going to take the lead, but not for long, as the Canadiens have a trick up their sleeve. Kotkaniemi is going to get the pass here from the ring, have a sneaky setup in front of the goalie, and that's going to push the score 4-3. The Canadiens are going to have some more sneak arounds as they set up this next play right there, set it up in front of the goalie for an easy goal from Chirot, trying the game 4-4. And over time, the Sabres are on the power play, looking around to see how they can win this way. They pass it to the outside for Jonasson for the game winner. The Sabres would win in overtime 5-4 against the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, Zach, who are the Buffalo Sabres going to lose to next?
I'm not sure. They're starting off really hot. They're 3-0-1, and their next opponent is going to be the Florida Panthers at the KeyBank Center. It's going to be game 2 of their home series out of 3, so you better watch out for them. They're doing really hot so far.
Well, that's a nice change of pace. They usually lose for me.
Mike, can you tell us a little bit more about our 7-day weather, the weekend coming up?
Yeah, so taking a look at our weekend first, honestly, Saturday isn't looking too good. We're having that front move through, and we're going to have some rain in the afternoon into the early evening. But as we go overnight and into Sunday, I'm actually expecting it to clear out, and Sunday doesn't look too bad. And then going into our 7-day, you can see that Monday and Tuesday got some clouds around. Temperatures a little on the cooler side, but there's a chance of showers on Monday. And on Wednesday, it's not looking too good, too, with it's another chance of showers as well. And then going into the end of next week, we have a front that moves through, and the temperatures drop a little bit, going to only the lower 50s for our high temperatures.
Pretty good.
So what can we do this weekend with the weather being, I mean, tomorrow at least, being so beautiful out?
I mean, well, for tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow's going to be a great day. It's going to be really nice and sunny. I mean, it's not too warm, though, so if you wanted to maybe go hang out by the lake, not looking too good for that. Yeah. But Saturday looks like, yeah.
We do have some stuff going on campus. The men's soccer team play tomorrow at Laker Turf Stadium, so it's going to be a really good day for them.
It sounds like it's going to be a fun weekend. All right, that's our report for tonight. Be sure to stay tuned for the next OP.
Thank you for watching. Have a great night, everyone.